Welcome to Truth, Money, and Freedom. Today is Wednesday, July 7th, 2019. Oh boy, so much to talk about, gang. Um, I'm going to start here, although I'm not really sure where to start. Um, but let's start by saying there is an ancient Chinese curse, and it says, "May you live in interesting times." And it's meant to be a curse. And boy, howdy, are we living in interesting times. Now, uh, I want to talk. This is the first money video I've done in nearly a week, and because I've been concentrating on the red flag laws. And by the way, that's gaining acceleration, gang, with the Republicans. I'm sorry to say. I will continue reporting on that, but it makes sense that they're doing that. The turncoat, quote unquote, conservative Republicans. Remember now, um, the Democrats are satanic and communist. But they're also fascist. The the Republicans are socialist and fascist. So they're all on the left-hand side of the spectrum. There's no such thing as, them being moderate. They're too far left of moderate. Both parties. So I'll get back to that in a podcast here real soon. Um, but let me say we're having some very interesting times in the markets. And I'm not talking about, red day, green day, this, that, and the other thing. However, it is interesting when this is happening, and we've had a lot of news hit in literally the last 4, 5, 6 days. A lot of news, going all the way back to the cut that we had last Wednesday, exactly 1 week ago, with the Federal Reserve, and things are getting very, very interesting now. I'll show you why here in a minute, but um, let's see. I'm going to comment on some of these stories. And by the way, this is going to be a slightly longer podcast. I try to make them short, um, but there's just too much information this time around. Gold climbs to 6-year high as bond yields collapse as fears of global slowdown mount. Well, that's not an accurate headline. The slowdown started back in December. Now, if you want to look in the financial markets, the slowdown technically was noticed in 2016. The slowdown is here, gang. Remember now I'm telling you that the mainstream media will all, go, "Oh my gosh, I didn't see that coming. No one saw that coming." Well, we're about ready to hit one of those moments. It's as of today. They're going to be scratching their heads going, "I don't know what happened. I just don't." And they're going to blame China devaluing the Yuan. They're going to blame New Zealand, who just last night brought down their interest rates 50 basis points from their central bank. The Japanese yen is looking at a devaluation right now. This is getting serious, gang. I'm telling you. We're rolling into this thing, and it's just the beginning. Unfortunately, just the beginning. This isn't as bad as things get, but I did find it interesting that they said fears of a global slowdown mount. Guys, the slowdown's already here. In fact, we're in negative territory as far as growth is concerned, and that, I think, is most countries of the world. All these countries are hiding this data from their citizens, so that they're caught unaware when the big moment happens. But I think the big moments are upon us within the next 2 to 3 months. Then we'll start seeing the real fireworks. That's my opinion, by the way. Can't prove it, but I do think we're having 2 more rate cuts. Remember now, I did predict that there would be a rate cut between July and September, and I was correct. Between June and September. And I was correct. It was the end of July. I am now predicting 2 more rate cuts this year. I think they're going to do another 25 basis point in September next month. And then I think in December, by then things are going to be really bad. So they're going to do a 50 basis point cut in December. And by the way, I have no idea if this is actually accurate. This is my gut feeling based on what I'm seeing, and I'll go further into this now. Yes, the Dow, the Nasdaq, and the S&P are down. And now they're saying it's because a scary sign from the bond market. Let's go look at the bond market, because the mainstream media is now saying there's a scary sign from the bond market. Let's see what that is. Oh boy. Well, we still are inverted, just like always. We've been inverted since, the inversion started in December. We're now in August, and oh my, look at that. The 30-year yield, 2.15. The Fed funds rate, or the overnight rate, 2.13. 2 basis points apart to the full inversion. Gang, it may even happen today. And no one saw it coming. Nope, nope, nope. No one saw this coming. No one saw this inversion happening. Let me refresh again so we can get what the 3 month is. 1.97. This is getting nuts here, folks. Look at the 10-year losing literally 10 basis points today, and it's literally like 10:30 in the morning, Central Time. Things are getting interesting. May you live in interesting times is the curse. We're in interesting times, gang. I don't know. I mean, I'm not really sure what to say to all of you here, but this is exactly what we've been talking about for a long time. Not saying that for tooting the horn. I don't need an ego massage or anything. I'm just telling you, gang, that it looks like this fall we're going to see some really crazy fireworks going on. We're going to get more interest rate cuts, and they're going to start printing money here pretty quick. That's what I see coming out of this. And they're going to print a lot of money. The insanity has just begun. Let's look at gold and silver. Let's do the 1 week. Okay, silver, $17.09. This is the highest it has been in a year. The highest it's been since April 8th of 2018. So silver is rising, and it's been rising a lot in the last 2 days. But then again, in the last 2 weeks, it's been rising a lot, as you guys know. 3 weeks maybe. Shoot, we were at $15 here not 3 weeks ago, 3.5 weeks ago. So let's take a look at gold. $1,506, gang. It's over the $1,500 hump. Oh, by the way, silver is now at 1709. It is technically out of the resistance zone, which ended at $16.70, and it cleared that last night, probably about 9 p.m. Central. It is out of resistance. It's heading towards the next resistance zone, which I believe Mike from Maine was telling me last night. It's in the $18 range, somewhere between $18 and $19. There's another resistance band, and this is for technical, chartists and everything. So it doesn't mean that it won't fly right through it because of fundamentals. But this is paper silver, gang. Always remember when I do this, because the physical is based on the paper asset from the COMEX. It is the weirdest way, and no other commodities are done like that. Just gold and silver and platinum. So look at gold. Let's go back to gold. 1506, and let's see, 1506. Well, here's the 5-year chart. We haven't touched $1,500 in 5 years, so let's go to the 20-year chart. Okay, last time, 15 March of 2013, over 6 years ago was the last time it was this high. Gold is breaking out, my friends. Gold is sniffing out problems, and it's starting to rise. So that's just a heads up for all of you. This is, like I said, this is starting now. Whatever this is, and however, I can guess most of it, but this is actually underway. We're looking at, let's see, 5.5 to 5.37 drop on oil because the stock market's going down. 10-year yield, just dropping, 10 basis points, literally. It just started 8:30 this morning, and it's about 10:30 right now, maybe close to 11 o'clock in 2 hours. That's how quickly the 10-year yield is dropping. We have almost the full inversion, and I'm pretty sure we're going to hit the inversion today or tomorrow, the full inversion. And now they're saying, well, the whole yield is inverted. I'm talking about talking heads, on MSNBC or whatever. But the 2-year and the 10-year are not inverted. Well, that's coming really quick. I meant this inversion is long, in the tooth. And actually, in many parts of it went super fast. Today is one of those super fast days. So was yesterday. And we're having many super fast days, and then we had days where it seemed to heal. It was getting better. But, that wasn't the trend. The trend was a full inversion. So it had what we would call dead cat bounce days, which is what yesterday we had in the stock market was a dead cat bounce. The trend is down. Okay, now moving on to some stories. Okay, when you get an email like this from the Fed, it may be time to panic. And they're talking about actually beginning quantitative easing this year, or Q4. They'll probably call it something else, gang, because everyone knows now QE or quantitative easing is just plain money printing now. In 2008, people didn't really understand what it was. But that's exactly what it is. It is money printing. It is outright turning on the printing presses. That's it. And then just adding more money to the economy, or sorry, adding more currency to the economy. That's what it is. And they're talking about the high probability that QE4 will be starting this year, 2019. So, and potentially in quarter four. So that's what this article is about. Okay. Goldman sees gold rising to 1600 or even higher on escalating trade war. Of course, it's a trade war. No, it's not. Now it's a currency war. It's official. This is a currency war now. I don't think we can call this a trade war. It did start out as a trade war. I understand that. But China's devalued their currency to take the edge off of the tariffs. So the trade is not hurting them anymore. And by the way, that's another thing I'll bring up later on. But Trump said that these tariffs would hurt the Chinese, that they would be paying the tariffs. That is absolutely untrue. It's verifiably untrue now. Americans are paying them. The companies that import the products pay them, and then they're passing it off to Americans in the price of products. So price increases are coming very, very soon, gang. I want you guys to understand that. That's why the Chinese devalued their currency, was to take the edge off on the tariff side they were paying. And that is actually that was the next logical move. But for devaluing their currency is exact opposite of what Trump wanted. Trump wanted them to bring up the value of their currency because they are currency manipulators. Well, yes, they are. But most countries are. So let's not just say China's the only one doing it. Everyone does it to a certain extent, including us, by printing money. The QE stuff. That is actually a currency manipulation. But Goldman is the same bank that was saying just 2 months ago they don't see a recession coming until 2020 to 2021. So I know that I bring these articles up for you guys, but I want you guys to understand these banks are now at the point now where they have to start saying it's here, because it is here, and they don't want to be seen as idiots or fools. They want to be able to say a month or two later, yeah, we reported on that. We saw this coming. We're talking about the smartest people in the room, the big banks, the market makers. We're talking the Goldman Sachs, the JP Morgans, the Bank of Americas, the Morgan Stanleys. I mean, these are the big banks. And they are now starting to put out stories that they see gold. In fact, one of these banks put out a story that gold may hit 1,500 in 2020. And this is literally like a month ago. Well, it's already over 1,500 now. But they got that one way wrong. So they're putting out this stuff trying to calm down the markets. But lately now they're seeing Goldman sees gold rising to 1,600 or even higher. Well, there's actually stories out there from very, very intelligent analysts saying we may have some very, very interesting moves in the gold market, like $200 days up, coming very soon. When I find that story that was read to me last night, I will actually bring that to you. But we're talking the kind of thing that was prognosticated back in 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018. The people were seeing limit up days in precious metals because of these issues, and they're happening. This is part two of the 2008 financial storm. It is here, folks. We've gone through the center of the hurricane, and we're now reaching the other side. And it is starting. Now, does that mean it's head for the hills, Katie bar the doors? No, it doesn't. It means your time is short to prepare. Precious metals are going up. Food is going up. It's official. Now, it's not going up like crazy, but I would say on many foods, I have seen a 20 to 25% increase in the last 6 weeks. Olives, I was going to mention olives. We don't grow olives here, but olives have gone up in price. I buy olives, so I know that about olives. Um, can't get good deals on cottage cheese anymore. Can't get my, with a coupon or whatever, with a sale, $1.79 for a tub of cottage cheese. The best price I can get is about $2.50. So even the sales, they still have sales, but they're nowhere near what they used to be as far as the prices. And by the way, used to be is relative. It's 6 weeks ago versus today. So okay, but at any rate, so that's Goldman Sachs, sees gold rising to 1600 or even higher on escalating trade war. Well, the trade war is over. We are getting a divorce from China, so um, we're not going to be trading with China much longer for very many things. We're moving out of China. The manufacturing is moving, at least American corporations. They're starting to move out of China, and they're going to places like South Korea. They're going to Singapore, Malaysia, Hong Kong, Taiwan. And that will push us into a possible hot war with China as they want to absorb Hong Kong and Taiwan and things of this nature. You guys know what I'm talking about with that. We'll cover that another time. This is financial. So at any rate, gold is rising. We've covered that. Okay, entire U.S. curve inverts as 30-year drops below effective funds rate. I already covered that a little bit ago. This is the full inversion, gang, today. Today is the full yield curve inversion. It happened today, and it may bounce up just a little bit, but that doesn't mean the trend, has stopped. Just like many times the yield curve has been looking like it's been healing in the last 8 months. Many times it looked, oh geez, look, the yield curve, is healing from its inversion. It's going back up again, but that's what we call dead cat bounces. Those happen in stock markets and crypto markets and gold and silver and all that, anything that you can chart. So those were not true, moments of healing for the markets. All they were is dead cat bounces. So I will link all these stories down below, of course, so you guys can actually read this stuff if you want to. But I'm just giving you the headlines and the basis of the story here. Dow dumps over 500 points, 10-year yield plunges below 1.6%, silver tops $17, and it's a bloodbath. Now, the Dow was 500 points in the red at one point today. Now, the plunge protection team came in and took the edge off. They threw money into the markets. So that is happening. That's a real deal. That is actually happening. The plunge protection team is literally throwing brand new money into the stock market to try and take the edge off of these red days. So is it effective? Not very much, but look at that. The 10-year is still going down. Let's take another look here. 2.15, 2.13. Once again, 2 basis points between the long ends of the spread. The Fed funds rate, the overnight rate, and the 30-year. The 2 extreme ends of the yield curve. And they're almost touching. Literally, they're two. There we go. Went back to 1 basis point apart, gang. Okay, so that's pretty much what this story is about. And of course, the fact that the talking heads and the pundits on the mainstream media didn't see it coming does not surprise me, because they didn't see it coming in 2008 either, because their job is to keep you comfortable and in the markets while the rich people get their money out first. That's their job. Okay. Boy, let's see. Trump renews Powell attack. I was right. Fed must cut rates bigger and faster. And of course, that's exactly what they're saying. That's why the market is going down. Trump is saying, no, it's not because of the currency war we have with China. It's because the Fed is not cutting rates fast enough. Well, I'm going to do a separate podcast here on Trump and what, because I'm beginning to see now, all this man cares about, the President of the United States cares about, is the stock market. That's it. That's all he cares about. Um, because that is his legacy. That's what he wants to be his legacy, is that the stock market did well. He's depending on you not understanding that the stock market is not an indicator of the health of the economy. It just isn't. And it hasn't been for a long, long time. Those are fake numbers with fake money and fake trading. I mean, let's go into the algorithms and the computers trading back and forth, the high frequency trading. It's all fake. Um, Mr. Trump is counting on the fact you do not know that that's a fake market. He wants you to think that that's real and organic, and it just isn't, and it hasn't been for a long, long time. Okay, next story. Let's see, banks slash trader bonuses as Wall Street braces for recession. Well, it's about time. Basically, the bankers have had enormous bonuses during this, 10-year recession, 11-year recession that we've been in, actually, because the GDP numbers show negative growth during that entire time. They were faking the numbers, fake unemployment numbers, you know, um, fake numbers for, um, oh dear God, it's just fake numbers all around. Inflation, that was the word I was looking for, CPI. Um, this doesn't surprise me. This shouldn't surprise you. And by the way, this is just starting. They're going to start cutting jobs like crazy at these banks. It is just starting. Okay, don't need that. And 3 central bank shocks unleash overnight yield crash with Yuan on verge of collapse. This is what I was talking about. Last night there was some very interesting news. We had the Yuan get parked at 6.99999 yuan, or 6.99996 yuan per dollar. Laughably, not to be confused with the 7 that they set it at. So there is friction between the U.S. and China in the form of a currency war. It's going on right now, gang. And eventually we're going to do QE. Or it's going to have another name maybe, because everyone knows what QE means now. And that will be our volley that we send back, on this particular currency war. And it will hurt Americans. It'll hurt Americans because the value of our dollar will go down even faster than it's going down right now. So, like I said, may you live in interesting times is a Chinese curse. And it looks like our currency war with China is beginning. Sorry about that, gang. I don't know if you can hear the thunder. We're having a bit of weather over here. But this is what I wanted to talk about. And it all started with the yield curve inversion. And I have been talking about that for quite some time. And I've been talking about what I do for my family. I am not a financial consultant, nor are any of the folks at Truth, Money, and Freedom. And once again, I am representative of a much, much larger group, as you guys know. So all I say to people, literally, is what I am doing, because I'm not a financial consultant. Gold, silver, physical in your hand, in your possession. I do crypto as well, and I know I get flamed for that, but that is my hedge. So I'm doing crypto as well, and that may crash and burn, and that's okay, because I got my original principal out of crypto a while ago. All that's left in there is my profit. So if it crashes and burns, that's okay. Easy come, easy go. I know silver and gold won't crash and burn. So storable food, a means of self-defense. I've talked recently about these gun laws that are being bantied. I'm going to start focusing a little more heavily on that, because that's very, very upsetting to me personally that that is happening with the Republican Party. They're now wanting to do quote unquote red flag laws. So we're going to be talking about that a lot more. Gang, for those of you who live in the United States that have the ability to don't have a gun, please do get one. And that's not, financial advice. That's, protect yourself advice. Train with that weapon, become proficient, and become a concealed carry holder. These are how we can stop these incidences from happening here in the United States. But unfortunately, every single time we have a incident like this, it's always in a gun-free zone. So criminals are not going to stop breaking the law. That's why they're called criminals. But at the very least, if something should happen in a place that is not a gun-free zone, you can do something about it, or someone can do something about it. This is all we've got, gang. Taking away guns is not an option. It's never been an option. It will never be an option. Red flag laws is a gun grab. It is Nazi Gestapo bullcrap, is what that is. And the fact that the Republicans are even considering this is a deal where we may have to really strongly consider taking out the Republican Party and replacing it with a new one. Libertarian, constitutional, you name it. We cannot have turncoats like this. We expect this kind of crap from the Democrats. We expect them to take away our guns. They are communists. Of course they want the guns. Guys, it's easy math. But the Republicans were supposed to be protecting us. Not anymore. Not anymore. So we have interesting times coming ahead, and I suspect interesting new gun legislation proposals to match how crazy things are going in the economy. I expect that. I'm lucky, fortunate. I live in Missouri, and we have some protections here where the federal government can only go so far with their gun laws. And I'll be reporting on more stuff here in the state of Missouri here soon. But at any rate, this has gone on too long already. Guys, thank you very much for listening to Truth, Money, and Freedom. I hope you guys have a better grasp of what's going on in the economy right now based on this. I will link every single one of these below. So you guys can go and read kind of dry statistics and everything, but I kind of summarized what's going on. Guys, for those of you who have been listening to me for a while but haven't started prepping, I'm going to ask that you actually start considering it very, very quickly now. I don't know how much time is left before we see large pieces of fecal matter hitting the rotating oscillator, but I don't think it's too far away. The yield curve inversion is done. It's done, and that's a very, very big indicator for people of lots of money. So that's one that they use. And even though everyone in the mainstream media said it was not a big deal, it is. It is a big deal because those inversions happen right before recessions, and we are in a recession. Please consider prepping, gang. Please consider it. All the things that I've talked about, food, means of self-defense, precious metals, cryptocurrencies. And if you don't have much money, food would be my top priority. I know that some people say silver should be your top priority because it'll be worth so much, but you could buy food with it as well, and of course that is true. But I don't know anymore, gang. I've prepped for years and years and years, and I just don't feel a need to do anything at this point. Oddly enough, I accumulate a little more silver here and there, but everything else I've pretty much taken care of. So I'm not sure what I would do in this situation right now if I had limited resources, is what I'm saying. Silver and food, that's the big one, and also a way, to filter water. That's we keep forgetting about saying that one, but that one's important too. We just don't know how bad things are going to get. There may be a situation where the city water's turned off for whatever reason, or there's some kind of contaminant in the city water. And so you can at least get your drinking and cooking water from some kind of filtration device. You could still get it out of your tap, but you can filter it and get all the crap out of there. So, okay, gang. This is not a moment where you need to be depressed or run around like your hair is on fire. But I'm warning you at this point right now, from my experience and from what I'm seeing, and from all the research I've done all over the years, I think this fall is going to get very, very interesting. This is the beginning. This is not, we're in the middle of it. We're just starting. So use what time you have, when the income you have with the job you have, lest there be layoffs or things like that going on. Use that time wisely, gang. And I love each and every one of you. And if you guys have any advice for other people, if you guys have any comments you want to make over what's going on, if you guys want to say, Drifter says, I'm overreacting on some of this stuff, but I don't think so. Much respect to Drifter. I love that man. And I've known him for 5 years, not personally, but online. But I think we're getting pretty close to very interesting times. And I will continue talking about the gun laws, gang. I will cover that for you, believe you me. Okay, you guys all have a wonderful, wonderful day. May God bless each and every one of you.